And more breaking news coming in now. It is a clear display of humanity by the Indian Army. Now, we are going to put up pictures on your screens where a terrorist who was bleeding profusely was helped and rescued by the Indian Army after the Kulgam encounter. Our Jawans put their own lives at risk to help the terrorists. This is the picture on your screen of the terrorist who was bleeding profusely after the Kulgam encounter, and our Jawans put their lives at stake to save the bleeding terrorists. Well, Army betas need to watch this, as this is an exemplary show of humanity by the Indian Army. Let's go across to my colleague Snehesh, who has more details on this. Snehesh, the Army betas need to watch this because this is what the Indian Army stands for.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is what the Indian Army stands for: maintaining, human rights standards. This is the clear picture which shows the militant Atta Malik being rescued by the army even after losing their own in the Kulgam encounter. This encounter raged on for about 48 hours. First it was in the city, and then it got diverted into the forest. But this picture clearly shows, this militant who was injured, he has been shot, but he pleaded for his life, and the army people rescued him. He was evacuated to the hospital where he's currently under treatment and is doing better. In this operation, 2 more terrorists, all these 3 are local boys. 2 more terrorists were arrested by the security forces. Yesterday at the press conference by the security forces, the 2 were brought before the media. And this person is currently in the hospital. This clearly shows the army has been insisting from the very beginning, asking the local boys who joined militancy to give up their arms and surrender. The army is not a killing machine. The army only goes in for the kill when the encounter is on. But sure, in this case, this injured militant, when he sought for mercy, the army rescued him.
Absolutely, Snehesh. The national security comes first for the Indian Army, but this in no way means that humanity is kept aside, and this indeed is an example of that for all those who take no time to insult the Indian Army, our forces who put their lives at stake only to protect us. This is something that they surely need to watch.
Absolutely. This is where the Indian Army plays its role. While you can criticize, there are people who criticize the army for whatever reasons, using very uncharitable words. At the end of the day, Indian Army is an army which has very strong ethos, which has a history which goes back to over 100 years. At the end of the day, Indian Army is Indian Army has always made it clear that while they are operating in Jammu and Kashmir, their primary aim is to ensure that no violence take place. Publicly they have come out with statements, including the Army Chief General Bipin Rawat, asking the youngsters, who've been fooled by the Pakistani propaganda and have picked up arms, to lay down their arms and surrender. The Indian Army has assured them of a safe passage, have assured them of all help that they would extend to rehabilitate them. So in this case, while the operation was on, remember that Indian Army lost one of its own in this operation. Despite that, when an injured Atta Malik sought mercy, asking for forgiveness, the soldiers rescued him, rushed him to a nearby hospital, and where he is currently under treatment and is doing better.
Absolutely, Snehesh. Despite losing their own man, they chose to save this bleeding terrorist. Many thanks, Snehesh, for joining us on this broadcast.